Here we are, YouTubers, on the 31st of March, 2023. And boy, have we got a superstar lineup for you this week. We have got Dan McKenzie leading Team 2 coming up shortly after the break. But now we've got Tony and his team leading Team 1. So it's a beautiful Friday morning. The sun is shining. So sit back, enjoy Team 1's presentations for today. I've been told it's Dougie who's going to start the proceeding. So Dougie, over to you, my friend, and I'll start the timer as soon as I hear your voice. Good luck.
Right. Good morning, all. Thank you very much for coming today to this meeting. My name is Doug Lamb from Have a Go, You'll Never Know Construction. What the purpose of today's meeting is over to go through the renovation and conversion of the Bramley Hose factory site. On this site, we are planning to have roughly about 20 men on site at any one time, given one time, which will swell to 25 when we have the site team, the design team on site. The project is due to run 12 weeks, but obviously that is subject to change. But at this moment in time, we're planning for 12 weeks. As I say, my name's Doug Lamb. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to ask the site team to introduce themselves. So if you just want to crack on and introduce yourselves, guys.
All right, my name's Tony, and I'll be discussing a bit further on. Anybody else?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Halim, and I'm delighted to be on this meeting today with this amazing design team and a wonderful audience. Ella?
Hi, my name's Pedro. I'm going to be talking later on about signage, and then I'll be going into talking about materials and storage. Welcome to our presentation. I'd like to pass you on.
Hi, my name is Sidi Boka. I'm security supervisor. I'm going to present the security supervisor system and site rules. Later on, I'm passing over to my next colleague.
Good morning. My name is Martin. I'm a part of a Have a Go, You'll Never Know team, and I'll be presenting emergency arrangements, including accident plan and fire rescue plan and mental health.
Right, let's make a start. So basically we've got a little itinerary. We'll go into more depth on each one of these as we go on. Firstly, we've got the site plan. So basically we're a small site located at the bottom left of this map here. If you can just follow my mouse. We've got a few things. If you just look at the key, the pedestrian walkways are highlighted in yellow. The fire air horns to raise alarms, they're in pink/red. So basically we've got a one-way system on entry to site through the main traffic. This will be going anti-clockwise around the site. We've got one crossing point from the pedestrian walkway on this area. There'll be hard barriered on each side, and above that is located the car park for the employees and visitors. This is also the muster point located next to the cabins, and this is also segregated with hard barriered area, pedestrian walkway to the car park and muster point. The amounts of cabins and a bit more detail will go into that a bit later on. We've got a overflow car park at the north. We've verbally agreed this with the farmer on his entrance to use of that. We've got walkway coming across here, and this is hard barriered as well, just to segregate us from the open drain. We've got a turnstile over in this area, which is in direct line of the security hut as well. This helps out for the later on, after everyone's left, for the site security to keep an eye on the turnstile as well as the lift up. just for line of sight. So we're going to go over to the waste management area. This is where all our segregation of skips are. We've got the cosh store next to it. These areas here, lines in green, and they're all hard barriered. The grey, that's the perimeter boundary, and that's all hard barriered with fencing and posts. Next to this, we've got the plant parking, so that's where we'll be parking our telehandler, and that enables us to segregate the cosh store from any materials that could be a potential fuel source, such as timber. A list of materials will be mentioned later on in the presentation. So as well as the eye wash stations and first aid box located in this area midway between the building, and we've also got some in the office. There's also be a spill kit in this area, so all the procedures can be followed in the same area, so no one gets confused. We've also got on the opposite side of the building, we've got landing zones for the telehandler, either end of the building, as far away as possible from the overhead lines. This is a 33 kilovolt line with a steel tower base. We have a 3 meter barrier away from the steel tower, including barrels surrounding that to ensure if somebody were to come into collision with it, they'll know about it before causing any damage or risk of electrocution. And I think that is pretty much it for this particular slide. I'll just go down to the next. So we've got a banksman. That'll be a full-time position, working with the telehandler operator. This obviously ensures safe movement and lifts can be carried out. Additionally, it'll be closing the pedestrian walkways at all times and redirecting pedestrians until the lift is complete. So as we just go back, there's a lift on this landing zone. The banksman will be cutting, stopping pedestrian route here and here. This allows the route to be carried round, so there's always access to the muster point and cabins. The landing zones, 2 landing zones erected by a competent scaffolding firm. The same firm will inspect weekly to and sign the tags off as safe for use. The landing zone will be a maximum capacity of 2.5 ton, a maximum of 1 lift of material per landing zone to be dropped at any one time. This ensures that there will be no overloading issues. It does add cost, but it greatly reduces manual handling, as it'll be on the 2nd floor. Weather conditions for site, we've assessed the ground conditions and agreed it's good enough for heavy plant and traffic. However, conditions change, then control measures have been made, such as tractor and tanker to wet down ground for dust suppression at times of dry ground. Okay.
Right, so this is my part, which is a welfare assessment. As part of the works, we've provided welfare facilities for all of the workers involved. Obviously, this will include flushing toilets connected to a tank, a water supply via refillable tank and drainage tank for any waste. Toilets are ventilated, lit and kept clean at all times, with a cleaning schedule scheduled for cleans will be arranged by dedicated cleaning staff, including supplies of toilet paper, etc. There will be wash basins with hot and cold water, warm running water next to the toilets with soap and towels. The basins will be large enough to wash hands, face and forearms. Obviously, we will be employing the company that's filling up the water to just do random tests or clean the system out as often as possible. Obviously, the water's going to be the warm water's going to be kept at 50 degrees to try and combat Legionella, and then obviously we'll put thermostatic taps onto the actual basins themselves to obviously make sure that no one scalds themselves. as mentioned, the toilets will have running water from a bowser, and with the waste collection being emptied on a regular basis. Next slide, please, Tony. Thank you. We have completed a comprehensive welfare study, and as such, we have the below information based on the intended 20 number workers on site, with 25 number when the design team visits. What we're going to have on site, we're going to have a canteen cabin, we're going to have an office, we're going to have a drying room split with a locker room, you know, take it from there. In the canteen cabin, we're going to have 3 microwaves, 3 fridges, 3 drinking water dispensers, sinks with hot and cold taps, heaters in both drying room and break room, 5 tables in break room with 5 chairs each, giving us allowance for the 25, obviously. We'll have a drying room on site, as I said, split between a drying room and lockers. So we're going to have 20 number lockers because obviously the design team, we wouldn't expect to need a locker on site when they visit. As mentioned before, obviously we keep the water at 50 degrees C and then obviously thermostatic taps. And to also combat this, we will want to employ a competent person from the filling company to obviously do that. Next slide, please. In terms of toilets, we're going to have a men's and women's toilets with disabled access for both toilets to try and take that into account. We're going to have 2 toilets with 1 urinal, 2 wash basins, and this is the men's, I should say. 2 wash basins large enough to wash faces and arms, paper towels available to dry hands, degreasing soaps, hand washing soaps, and hand care softening soaps. In the women's toilets, we're going to have 2 toilets with 2 wash basins, again, large enough to wash faces and arms, paper towels available to dry hands, degreasing soaps, hand washing soaps, and hand care softening soaps. I'm just going to pass you on to Hallam to deal with the traffic management plan.
Traffic management plan, this is the part I'm going to talk today on this presentation. Just as a fact, on average each year, about 7 workers die as a result of accidents involving vehicles or mobile plants on construction sites. A further 93 are seriously injured. Our design construction traffic management plan, CTMP, establishes vehicle routing and tests to ensure that vehicles can access and egress the site safely during the construction phase. This is typically in the form of routing plans, restriction on timing of vehicle movements, temporary enabling works, and parking suspensions. The routes will be suitable for the people or vehicle using them, in suitable position and sufficient in number and size. In order to prevent incidents on site, which can and should be prevented, we carefully implemented these key issues into our traffic management plan. Next slide, please. Segregation. The majority of the construction transport accidents result from the inadequate separation of pedestrians and vehicles. This will be avoided by careful planning, particularly at the design stage, and by controlling vehicle operations during construction work. The following actions will help keep pedestrians and vehicles apart. Entrances and exits, separate entry and exit gateways for pedestrians and vehicles, walkways, provide firm, level, well-drained pedestrian walkways that take a direct route where possible. Crossings, where walkways, crossways provide a clear design, and lit crossing points where drivers and pedestrians can see each other clearly. Visibility, make sure drivers driving up onto public roads can see both ways along the footway before they move onto it. Obstructions, no walkways will be blocked, so the pedestrians have to step onto the vehicle route. Barriers, installing a barrier between the roadway and walkway. The next slide, please. Minimizing vehicle movements. Each year within the construction industry, approximately 10 people die as a result of being struck by vehicles on site. In addition, there are hundreds of preventable accidents and injuries. Inadequate planning and control are the root cause of many construction vehicle accidents. Good planning can help to minimize vehicle movement around the site. For example, landscaping to reduce the qualities of fill or spoil movement, foresee skip renewal, and organize waste to be removed as needed. To limit the number of vehicles on site, provide car and van parking for the workforce and visitors away from the work area. Overflow car park has been provided. Controlled entry to the work area via book-in deliveries and time slots. Planned storage area so that delivery vehicles do not have to cross site unnecessarily. There will be a shoot direction and instruction prior to visit, then again by security on site. Next slide, please. People on site. We take steps to make sure that all the workers are fit and competent to pretend to operate the vehicles, machines, and attachments they use on site by, for example, checks when recruiting drivers, operators, or hiring contractors, training drivers and operators, manage the activities of visiting drivers, signalers who direct vehicle movements will be trained and authorized to do so. Next slide, please. I think passing over. Vehicles. The need for vehicles to reverse should be avoided where possible, as reversing is a major cause of fatal accidents. A reverse parking policy will be implemented on site and extending to the overflow car park. This will be monitored by security and asked for it to be reported if a vehicle is found to not be reversed parked. One-way system have been implemented on site due to scale of site. A turning circle will not be needed on site and will follow the one-way route back to the exit. Security will be actively monitoring what vehicles and persons are on site or booked in to come to the site. Visibility. If vehicles reverse in areas where pedestrians cannot be excluded, the risk is elevated and visibility becomes a vital consideration. Aids for drivers, mirrors, CCTV cameras, or reversing alarms that can help drivers can see movement all around the vehicle. Plant and vehicle marshalers, a bondsman will be appointed to control maneuvers and who are trained in the risk for the telehandler. Lighting, so the drivers and pedestrians on shared routes can see each other easily. Lighting may be needed after sunset or in bad weather, so will be implemented on this site, not only for visibility but security. Clothing, pedestrians on site should wear high visibility clothing on entry and leaving the overflow car park as well as entry to site. This ensures clear visibility when walking from car park onto farm access road, then to turnstile. Hand it over to next team member.
Hi, my name is Pedro. I'm here to talk about the signs and instructions. All drivers and pedestrians know and understand the routes and traffic rules on site. Use of standard road signs where appropriate. Induction training for drivers, workers and visitors, and send instructions out to visitors before their visit will be provided on what to be expected when we get on site. Here's some of our signage that we'll have around the site. On our main gate, we'll have the 5-point PPE required at all times. Throughout working, you have a safety helmet, high-vis jacket, boots at all times, hand protection and gloves, and safety glasses to be worn as needed. We'll have, outside the gate, we'll have a caution site entrance, and in the car park, where the car parks are, we'll have signs up for contract parking. Going along to the overflow car park, and we'll have where the drainage is, we'll have signs for caution for open ditches. We have a 10 miles per hour speed limit for any vehicles on the site. On the site, we'll have a fire assembly point, which will be labelled up. Fire exits will all be marked up, pointing in the right direction of where we need to go. Around the sites, we'll have fire extinguishers, and they'll all be labelled up, and a fire alarm call point, which will either be a bell or a sounder system. We'll have sites around any electrical cable areas, advising that there's overhead power lines. For traffic going round, we'll have a beware of movement of vehicles around the site, and also that it is a one-way system. Over at the welfare cabins, we'll have signs for toilets and the likes of. And there'll be various other signage around the site. I'd like to hand over to Illy. Sorry.
Hi guys, my name is Ilya Boka. I'm security site security supervisor. We'll have in the site around the site post and timber panels will be used to contain site and segregate the working area. The fence line will be clear of any material equipment to be no place to hide. Do not store any materials on the fence to create an easy way to climb over the fence. Entering the site gate controlled by security with sign and registry. Site entrance, number recognition plates, fence line for delivery access and control and place gate. Lighting on fence at nighttime, security team attending in case of any intruder alert. Light in and around welfare on the site. Man to operate main gate entrance. Security team on patrol around the perimeter of the site in weekend days or national bank holiday. Strict security protocol should be as follow. Take measures against internal thief. Report any suspicious behavior of cars. Personal property will be locked when it's not in use. Next slide, please. Introduction procedures to ensure that both new employees and contractors are fully inducted with site policy processes and practices in order to create confident, trusted, and respected team members who are committed to professional standards and best practice with emphasis of everyone's safety. Induction and checklist also keep the record of everyone on site in case of emergency and are to be conducted by appointed person, on this occasion the site full-time HNC advisor in the site meeting room. Induction takes place every Monday and Wednesday morning at 8:30. Next slide. Introduction material. The introduction process induct all personnel to come into site. It will also provide emergency arrangements such as fire emergency plan, accident plan. Training and certification to be organized and approved prior to coming to site. Training and certification is the checked at induction to ensure it remain in date and legal. Speed limits, drug, alcohol policy, incident, emergency evacuation procedures, fire point location, including fire horns to raise alarm, the layout of the workplace, including entries and exits, location of facility, first aids, and security requirements, how to report incident and hazard and risk specific to workplace, working from heights, control measures for those risk, compulsory harness use, site-specific rules that must be complied with AG. You must wear personal effective equipment, safety documents, policy and plan specific to workplace, traffic management plan. Emergency procedures and arrangements. In event of fire, sound the alarm. The sound of the alarm will be the horn. Sorry?
I'll take over here. I'll take over here, Ili. Emergency procedures and arrangements. Hello again.
By all means, intervene when you want to take it over. I'll keep proceeding with the.
In event of the fire alarm, the sound of the alarm will be an air horn. The air horns are located throughout the site. If the fire is detected, automatically detectors will sound the alarm. And obviously, if anyone see a visual of a fire, another main means of alarm is a verbal shout out. Action staff should take to, on hearing the alarm, is dial 999, request attendance by a fire service. Staff member gives their name, address of site and contact number and details of fire. Everyone on site will commence mustering, ensuring this is done in a calm and orderly manner, providing assistance to those needing additional help in evacuation. If it's safe to do so, electrical means and gas supplies should be switched off before leaving the building site. meet at the assembly point. The general car park is at the main entrance is our assembly point. There's going to be a nominated appointed person, a fire marshal on site, and a suitable fire marshal, sustainable fire marshal, substitute fire marshal in case primary is not available. There are ABC powder and foam spray, fire extinguishers, and the fire blankets located in welfare and facilities and throughout the site and inside of the factory building. The next is the 3-tier accident plan. We've got tier 1, which can be injuries can be dealt with on site, which is cuts and bruises. There's going to be 2 first aiders on site and first aid kits in the main entrance and in the welfare facilities. When it comes to a more serious accidents, hospitalization, the nearest hospital is 15 minutes away, which will be shown in an indication. Then there's an AED at the main gate. Tier 3, if the injured person cannot be moved, we dial 999 and wait for the help first aiders to carry radio at all times. Other potential emergencies: power line strike, flooding, boiler room is a confined space, storms, earthquakes, hazardous material incidents, outbreak of infections, chemical spills, gas leak, heart attack, security incidents, or an intruder, structural failure or collapse of the 2-story building we're working in, or Legionella outbreak. The mental health and well-being, it means different things to each of us, but generally it's about having the energy to do what we want to do when we want to do it. This means we each need to look after and invest in ourselves every day with good lifestyle habits and health, diet, and regular exercise. On this project, we'll plan to introduce a talk room, a weekly talking session with a trained person in a designated private place where anyone could come and share their thoughts and worries, either individually or as a group. There's also going to be a materials and information helping to develop the knowledge and understanding of how to look after our mental health and cope with normal feelings of distress and worry, especially during difficult times. I'm going to hand over to Doug.
Just a quick note here on the safe system of work. We have a couple of bodies that we need to bring into site from an agency. I have forwarded on the relevant information to your health and safety officer so that they have them the bare minimum risk assessment and method statement of what they are going to be doing and when they're going to be on site. This publication will be available to all. We'll email it out after the meeting, and then there's a little bit more on the safe system of work in that. So basically, I'm going to pass you over to Pete now, who's going to be doing permissions. Sorry, storage requirements.
We have storage requirements on site for materials and other things. The provision of adequate space, protection and control of building materials and components held on site during the construction process has been assured with classification as durable or non-durable. The latter will require some form of weather protection to prevent deterioration whilst in store. The size and shape and weight and mode of delivery will assist in determining safe handling and stacking methods to be employed on site, which in turn will enable handling and storage costs to be estimated. I want to nip through a little bit. I'll let you read that one, nip through just so we can speed up the process of our presentation. Storage of material, which may be a potential fuel source, will be stored away from potential ignition source. Cosh stores and timber pile will remain separate. Here's some of the materials that we'll be storing on site.
Yes, I can take it over from here, Peter. Site rules. Do not start without an induction. Always report to the office, to site office, to sign in out of the site, including drivers, visitors, and workers. Always obey safety sign and rules. No smoking on site. PPE rules. Hard hats must be always worn on the site. High visibility jacket must be always worn on the site. Safety footwear must be worn and be of the lacy type. Additional PPE must be worn as required in task-specific risk assessment. Gloves and glasses must be used at all time. Always ensure that PPE is correct. Use it and any PPE fits and it's used correctly. No.
That's it. Perfect. So now we've got equipment rules and behavioural rules. So these are the few rules that we adhere to on site. Feel free to take a look. Use 110 volts equipment, mostly suitable for use on site. We've also got a couple other rules. These are some of our security rules and reporting. And we've got document control. As I'm sure you can appreciate, construction site is one of this site, a lot of documents required, maintained and controlled. Other permits to work, hot work permits, all the forms notices on sites where applicable and appropriate to site. And these are a few of our document controls that will be found in the office and site manager will be able to issue. Thanks a lot. And I hope you enjoyed the presentation.
Right, as is traditional at this point, let's give it a round of applause.
Well done, guys.
Well done, guys. And can I open up the floor to the first question, please?
Is there anyone on our team or?
Can I ask the first question? Did we make it on time? Oh, we just did.
You just ran out of time as document control came in, but,
I saw,
but that's not bad.
I saw Tony flipping. I know.
We tried to flip through the last few just to speed.
We're still in role play, guys. Come on, let's still play. Let's not forget the role play. Of course. So can we invite the first question, please?
Yeah, I got a question. I heard something about a canteen cabin on site. I didn't see it on the site drawing. Can you just show us where the canteen cabin is going to be positioned?
Absolutely. Can you see that? Or is it not been? Is it not sharing?
Not yet, Tony. You're on there now, Tom.
Spot on. So these are the cabins located at the top right of the site. We've got the turnstile there and the security hut there, and this area is completely segregated from the car park and muster point with access there.
Right, thanks.
Any more questions?
Yeah, I've got one.
Yep.
Is the car park that you've got in the actual construction site, not the overflow, is it gated and protected at all, or is it just open?
This car park, it's from this area here, so it's actually blocked off, and this bit here is actually, it's hard to tell, but it's already tarmacked and a car park's already there.
Oh, okay.
So it is actually segregated via curb.
Yeah.
That bit. And then you've got your traffic flow coming through here and down.
I've got to get my questions out.
I've got a couple more.
Right,
I was just wondering if anybody else on my team's got any, or no. I know you mentioned you had one. Well, you designated fire people. If the fire brigade were to turn up, would there just be one person dealing with the fire brigade straight away?
Yeah, it'd be the primary fire marshal that would be dealing with the emergency services. If that person, however, was not to be in, then a secondary person is nominated and fully trained and competent, and they will take the place in case of the primary is off on leave or ill.
And then my last question is, obviously there's quite a few documents on site. I know you said that they're stored in the office. Is that secure? You know, is there a lock on it? Are they kept in cabinets, or are they just, are they securely kept away? So
it'll be locked away in the office. There'll only be the site manager, health and safety rep, and site supervisor. They'll have the lock for the office, and then yet again it'll be in a locked cabinet as well. There'll always be either one of them three on site at all times, so it can be accessible if needed for any one of those documents.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay then. Okay, let's get some more questions out then. You said you verbally agreed with the farmer to use his car park. I'm a little bit concerned as a client that you're going to be putting him out and because you've got according to your plan there, you've got a footpath from the car park into your site. So you're obviously going to be opening his gate, shutting his gate. He's got animals on there. What's the procedure and the system for ensuring all that's done safely?
All the procedure would be this area, obviously, if it is gated, his gates for the animals, etc. Everybody's been notified that if access is from that gate, then it'll be shut behind them on and access and egress of that bit.
We'll put signage up as well, saying please close gate afterwards. We missed a little bit on our presentation of permissions and notifications, which we had said we'd put down that the neighbour, the farmer, has been asked for permission to use the farm entrance to get to an overflow car park if required. The talks with the farmer has already happened and seems very friendly and cooperative, and has already verbally agreed to allow access to set up an overflow car park.
Okay. You said you've got a 3-meter barrier to protect from the overhead cable. Where did you get that safe distance from?
That was just for the base of it's actually well, I think it's beyond what's needed for the base of the steel tower, but we've just took that just to allow if any heavy vehicles were to collide with the bottom, they'd obviously hit the barrier first, then the secondary barrier, which hopefully would stop the actual contact. It was found online on the 33 kV volt line.
Okay. And you said you're going to keep your water at 50 degrees. 100 degrees obviously is boiling, so 50 degrees is half of that temperature. And you say that's going to kill Legionella?
That's the information off of the HSE website.
What, that will kill Legionella, or that's the preferred temperature?
That's 60.
That's the preferred temperature to limit Legionella.
Right. Okay. That's 5.5 minutes. That's it. You've had 5 minutes Q&A. That's it. Well done. Give it a round of applause. Yes.
Well done, lads.
Right, let me stop the recording. Then you can have your little chitter chatter. Hold on. There we go.